And after this break, the late mail for runners in the race that stops a nation.
Many of the leading trainers, jockeys and owners were among the 800 guests who'd been invited by the former governor before his sudden demise. For Prince Charles and Princess Diana, it was a chance to pick up the latest tip for tomorrow's big race. And judging by some conversations they had, there were plenty to choose from. Prince Charles does not share his mother's enthusiasm for horse racing, but guests said tonight he'd done his homework well and appeared to have some ideas of his own about who will win tomorrow.
Today for the traditional Melbourne Cup Parade of Champions. As Ginny Hosking reports, the tipsters were out in force.
Everyone put their best foot forward for the Melbourne Cup Parade of Champions. The parade winners Hyperno, R1 and Piping Lane once again sported their famous racing silks. Jockeys Darren Gauci, Harry White, Wayne Treloar and Roy Higgins constantly gave best bets to the crowd. While Lord Mayor Tom Lynch preferred to keep his inside tip quiet, others had more on their minds than racehorses.
Who are more interested in omens than form, you need look no further than the Royal Tour. Since the Prince and Princess of Wales arrived in Victoria 8 days ago, any horse with a name that has royal connections seems to have been worth backing. Terry Clifton, with an eye for a winner, has applied that principle to the Melbourne Cup.
The remarkable sequence began at Moonee Valley last Saturday week. As Victoria prepared itself for the arrival of the royal couple, Rising Prince won the WS Cox Plate. The Prince and Princess arrived in Melbourne the next day, with one gentleman making the headlines with this brief regal encounter. Let's hope he studied the form guide for Tuesday's meeting at Seymour. Regal Encounter won the second race at 25-1. The following day was Werribee Cup Day, and a glance at the runners in the Cup showed only one horse with a royal connection. Fille de Roi, loosely translated from the French, means King's Son. He won at 6-1. That night, the royal couple helped celebrate Victoria's 150th birthday at the Southern Cross Hotel. Omen punters cleaned up the next day when celebrated Prince won the fifth race at Yarra Glen. Then came Derby Day, and it seemed everyone had jumped on the royal bandwagon to back Born to be Queen in the VRC Derby, and she started 3-1 favourite. However, the weight of all that money proved too much, and she finished a gallant third. The day was saved, however, in the next race, when Rising Prince saluted in the McKinnon Stakes.
And so we come to the Melbourne Cup, and with the Prince of Wales due to open his own grandstand here at Flemington tomorrow, how could Omen punters go past number 3, I'm a Prince?
Weather conditions could determine who will start favourite in tomorrow's $1 million Melbourne Cup. While noted wet weather runners could shorten dramatically, New Zealand 8-year-old Kiwi had his final workout this morning and looked every inch a champion.
When the float carrying the 8-year-old champion turned into Mornington Racecourse early this morning, it was like an old friend returning home. It was 12 months to the day when the racing world was stunned by the shock scratching of Kiwi after being inspected by vets just 36 hours before last year's race. But this morning, it was a calm and chatty Snowy Lupton who worked Kiwi over 800 metres, a gallop which prompted Lupton to say, if he's not ready now, he never will be. Although well supported in Cups betting, Kiwi really didn't remind everyone of his amazing ability until his recent sound performances in New Zealand. And then when he was transported safely to Australia and nestled once again at his Victorian home down here at Mornington, everyone knew the champ was back and set to emulate his feats of 2 years ago.
Veloso making some sort of a run and Kiwi late. It's going to be close here. Kiwi's going to beat them all with a mighty run. Kiwi swamps them on the line, and Kiwi's won at a length and a half to Noble Comment.
Snow, he is a favourite, and everyone would love to know from you, can he do it again?
Well, he's a good star, and he's done well. You know, he must be in with some chance, I would say.
We've got a couple of horses that appear certain, Snow, to set a pretty fierce pace, and everyone's saying, yes, it is going to be a fast-run race. Does that suit your plans?
Yes, well, that'll be in his favour. It's a really hard pace early.
And while Kiwi was one of the most popular horses at today's Call of the Card at the Victorian Club, Darren Gauci's mount, Mapperley Heights, attracted the largest single bet. Terry Clifton reports one of Australia's biggest punters backed the horse to win $500,000.
The Call of the Card is an annual event at the Victorian Club and attracts most of Australia's leading bookmakers and punters. And today it seemed they were all there. It was standing room only and the action was fast.
Calling his 32nd Melbourne Cup, Our Sophia ahead of Mapperley Heights.